Pace car hangs the left. It is Justin Michael. Roland holds up front. We are racing in Chicagoland. Michael working both lanes, trying to stall any momentum anybody has in turn number 3. His teammate Scott Patton working on the bottom. Still with Roland Holt to the outside. Jeremy McKinnon hanging tough there as well. Top 4 started to scoot away just a little bit from Ryan Dye in P5. Here goes Patton. He's got a look underneath of Justin Michael for the race lead. Jeremy McKinnon has a look to the middle of both of them as well. I'm not sure he's going to have the run here. Patton to P1, 3 wide for second. Holt on the bottom, McKinnon in the middle. Whoa. Michael rolls out of it up top. Now up front, Jeremy McKinnon is taking the race lead. He is going to lead lap number 8. Here goes Scott Patton underneath of Jeremy McKinnon for the race lead. Not sure he's going to be able to get the move done here. We'll see what McKinnon can do down the back straightaway here. Joe Yates working on Justin Michael now for the 5th spot as well. So maybe Michael was... Oh, McKinnon's in the wall! McKinnon into the wall. Here comes Michael for the race lead on the bottom. He is going to clear Patton up. Patton does have a bit of a run out of the corner. Moves down to cover all the way to the white line through the tri-oval, and Justin Michael is back up front. After falling back as far as 6th, I believe, and working right back up front. Michael maybe just laying back a little bit, getting the momentum off the corner. Here he goes to the inside of his teammate for the race lead. Patton down to pinch. Michael underneath the white line. Across the line, he's got the lead, but he does not have the spot outright just yet. Patton fighting back on the outside.
And on the outside, as long as Patton has a good run through the corner, he's going to carry a lot of momentum down the curved backstretch here.
Flat traffic ahead as well may play a factor in this one way or another.
The 78 of Michael is able to clear this time.
Patton incredibly loose there on corner exit, hangs on to it. We talked about his worst finish of the season. Last week at Iowa, it was a 5th place finish. And now he's right back to winning form. Justin Michael snags the win in Chicagoland. He takes the homecoming 200. All 4 of Toyota's wins in Truck 200 have come courtesy of that 78. And it's a Bandit Motorsports 1-3 here tonight in virtual Joliet, Illinois. As Joliet Justin is burning it down on the outside wall. There it goes.
There it goes.
After a nice, refreshing off week for the drivers of Truck 200, we are looking down the barrel of a tough closing stretch here for the inaugural season of the home of good old-fashioned trucking, as we are kicking it off here tonight with 200 miles here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, a.k.a. Gateway, for what could very well be the longest race of the season in terms of time from green to checkers. We're about to find out who is up to the task as we are approaching qualifying for the Illinois-Missouri Border Dispute 200, and it's right here on Turn 200. From one home race to another for the broadcast boys, it's Tommy Cook, it's Matt Williamson, ready to start moving and shaking here in virtual St. Louis. We'll take a quick look at the point standings heading into tonight, where we will find Joe Yates on top for the 2nd week in a row, but that margin over the now 2nd place Justin Michael, who is red hot, shrunk by 58 points at Chicagoland. Justin says Gateway isn't one of his stronger tracks, but he also said that at Iowa, and he walked away with the top 5 after that race. Bottom line is this: everything and everyone is in jeopardy here tonight, especially the 411 consecutive green flag lap streak that the league is on heading into tonight. It's all to play for here at Gateway. We'll have qualifying for you and some track notes and conditions when we return to coverage of the Illinois-Missouri Border Dispute 200 here on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
No, I've been here about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. We're back to live coverage of the Illinois-Missouri Border Dispute 200 here on Turn 200, round number 8 for the inaugural season of Truck 200. We've got Mr. 200 himself, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. Matt Williamson.
I don't think I'm worldwide. I think you're the one that's been worldwide, my friend.
No, everybody's going to be calling you Mr. Worldwide after today, and I don't know why. But, hey, it's the duo back here after you did a fantastic job all by yourself managing the chaos the other night with the Venom Truck Series at North Wilkesboro. That was a fantastic race. And so I'm sure you're probably relieved to be part of a duo again, but I mean, the race was awesome and you knocked it out of the park. So I want to say big ups to you first of all, and then welcome back to sort of home for us, Gateway Motorsports Park, Worldwide Technology Raceway here. It's I think tonight could be a fun one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I've spoken to a couple of the drivers that are with us tonight, and I don't think it's really one that many of the drivers penciled in as one they were looking forward to this season. So everybody, not quite everybody, but a lot of our drivers here tonight are going to be on their toes a little bit. So that's going to make for some interesting racing, I think.
We've got 25 drivers right now in the session. As Gavin Sanders is connecting. He makes number 25. We've got 20 drivers that have taken a time thus far. The two fastest drivers in practice find themselves 1 and 2 on the starting grid provisionally here. And Scott Patton was way faster than anybody else in practice. He was a tenth and a half up on Justin Michael, who comes into tonight with the hot hand, so to speak. But provisionally right now, it's a Bandit Motorsports front row lockout. And James Lehman, who is in action tonight with Bandit Motorsports. He's on a sort of a part-time basis, but he's not too far behind right now, provisionally P5. Does any of that surprise you?
I would not say that it surprises me, as those fellas have come into the league. They have made it well known that they are looking to be the fastest of the bunch, and while they've certainly had some competition, they have come out victorious quite a few times already in their short stint here in Truck 200. So it certainly does not surprise me one bit.
Scott Patton, 2 for 2 on podiums in his 2 career starts here in Truck 200. Of course, Justin Michael is 4 for 5 on race victories. And that one race that he didn't win was a 5th place finish. So he's yet to finish outside of the top 5 here tonight. Scott Patton, no finishes worse than 3rd, and is looking to take his 2nd career pole here tonight. But it's going to be interesting to see what Gavin Sanders might be able to do if he can get in here, but also with no practice. Can he post a time? Is he going to post a time? We still do have a couple of minutes to figure all that out. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for some on-track action to develop here, I want to draw your attention to P3 on the leaderboard right now. That is a driver that, if you watched our counterparts at Raceverse for any length of time and their former coverage of the RAL redacted series, Schaefer's, now 4-time series champion Caleb Bensey. You know the name. He did a couple of Daredevil races with us here on Turn 200. But Caleb Bensey is here tonight in Truck 200, and he has made a statement early. He is P3 provisionally in qualifying.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that we know most of those folks at the RAL from an open wheel background. Whoa, Gavin Sanders just hit the wall coming out of 2 on a quali lap, so I don't think he's going to be starting very far forward. Of course, he did just register, so probably didn't get really any practice time in here. But those folks in the RIL, primarily open wheel connoisseurs, we really weren't sure how any of them would fare in a stock car or truck here on Truck 200. And it just goes to show the amount of talent that they have in that group, because Bensey obviously is qualified 3rd. We'll see how the race goes, but Gavin Sanders has put in some fantastic performances as well, and not just on the road courses, but on the ovals also. So they have done quite well here in Truck 200.
It's not a question of their talent. It never has been. It's such an adaptation, if you will, as Gavin Sanders puts a lap up that I believe is going to get him 20th, so not the qualifying effort that he was looking for. But it's not a question of their talent, but it's tough to adapt to such a different vehicle, from running open wheels to running these big, giant trucks. So, but yeah, Gavin Sanders has done phenomenal. Dakota DeMate has been picking it up as of late. Right now, he is P16 provisionally on the starting grid. Christopher Kresge's had some tough luck and a tough go of things, and he is not here tonight, but he has done well as well. I believe next week we're going to see the debut of Matt Houston. He's another notable RAL open wheel driver that will be making his debut next week at Interlagos for the Brazilian Truck Grand Prix. That is going to be awesome. But Caleb Bensey getting a head start here tonight and getting a great start, no matter who may jump in front of him here, as the final seconds of qualifying start to tick down. Quick check of the chat here. We've got LFG84 saying, "Let's go, Mr. Gainey." And yeah, Brantley Gainey, he is on a roll right now with the Venom Truck Series. Holy cow. Hopefully that translates here tonight. He is a little bit deeper in the starting field than he wants to be. Greg Roberts says, "Personally, I think Illinois should have the border," but that's just my opinion. I agree. And
I also agree. Just want to make that known.
Roll Tide says, "Have fun, boys. Wish I could be out there on track with you." We wish you were here as well. But we'll see you soon, I'm sure. All righty. It is time for the starting grid here tonight for the Illinois-Missouri Border Dispute 200. 160 grueling laps around Gateway here tonight. And with his 2nd career pole and his 3rd career start, Scott Patton is looking for his first win in Truck 200. And he is off to a great start here tonight to get that accomplishment under his belt. He'll have his teammate, 4-time series winner, Justin Michael, starting to his outside. He is looking to take the points lead here tonight with a good finish. We'll see if it can happen. Caleb Bensey in his debut here tonight is going to start on the inside of row number 2. We'll have another driver that's up there in the points hunt, TJ Bartell, to his outside to round out row number 2. The Bandit Motorsports trifecta ends there at P5 for James Lehman. He rolls off on the inside of row number 3 with Roland Holt to his outside in P6. Starting in 7th, it is Ryan Dye, who has cracked to the top 5 in the series points here again. So looking for a good run here tonight for Ryan Dye. Garrett Rainey starting P8 here tonight. A great qualifying effort for Luke Peterson. He is rolling off in 9th. Jeff Langston is back in the field as well. He rounds out your top 10 starters here tonight. Then it's your points leader down in 11th, Joe Yakes, with some work to do here tonight at Gateway. Paul Ellison is going to start to his outside in 12th. He is back after taking a provisional last time out at Chicagoland. Row number 7 on the inside, Andy Poliski. He is going to have a big night tomorrow night, but is looking to survive here at Gateway from a 13th starting spot. Steve Roman, another driver up there in the points, is going to roll off in 14th. Jeff Smith, Dakota DeMade on row number 8. Then Kyle Zittel is back. He is going to start 17th. Will Salamone will roll off in 18th. Starting in 19th, Johnny Nielsen. And then it's Gavin Sanders all the way down in P20. Work to do for him here tonight. Brandon Gainey, Adam Cantwell on row number 11. Those are the last 2 drivers to take times. Then I believe we'll have John Kay in the field. He will be starting in the 23rd, 24th. Should be Troy Thomas, and then 25th. And final starter here tonight should be Hunter Leach. I don't believe Jeremy McKinnon stuck around. He just got some practice in and headed out and is getting some head start on the Darlington practice for tomorrow night. As the trucks start to roll here around Gateway, what are the track conditions and what are we going to be looking for as this race rolls along here tonight?
Yeah, we'll take a look at the track conditions here. Track temperature, not super warm, only 92 degrees, so should help our drivers here tonight, although if you get too hot into these corners, it can be pretty easy to spin these trucks out, especially early. So they're going to want to get them binded up maybe a little bit earlier than they're used to here around this track specifically. As far as some other things for the race go, there are 3 extra tire sets. Fuel window tonight is about 50 to 60 laps probably, and we see quite often some of our drivers try to push the envelope on that number, so we might have some people try to go over 60 here tonight. And as always in Truck 200, 0 fast repairs, and I think hopefully we don't have too many issues, but that one might come into play as it's pretty hard to get things binded up if things happen in front of you. Pace car is off. We are coming to the green flag.
Been talking on mute this whole time. Here we go. Bailing off into turn number 1. Good start for Patton. He is off and away. Justin Michael taking it easy at the start here. He loses about 3 truck lengths to the race leader. Now into the much faster section here, turn number 3. Everybody minding so far as lap number 1 goes up on the board. Scott Patton leading the way here at Gateway. This marks lap number 412 of consecutive green flag racing across the last now 4 races. It's been an incredible stretch, and we'll see how far we make it into this one before it potentially could come to an end.
It really has. It's been something to watch. Certainly surprising, in my opinion. Of course, it's our first season of Truck 200, so you're not sure what you're going to get, but we've gotten a group of drivers that like to race clean, and that produces some good racing. Our first side-by-side battle right now is back for the 8th spot. Jeff Langston and Garrett Rainey going to work on each other a little bit farther up there. It looked like James Lehman is looking to try to get around Bensey. That's for the 3rd spot, but wasn't quite able to get the nose underneath of the 29. Oh, and he's in the wall. The 05 of Lehman is in the wall hard.
Absolutely knocked the wall down out of turn number 4. We're going to stay green. He gets it back rolling. There is significant right side damage to the side of the 05.
Boy, I was going to talk about a little bit later on in the run. It's pretty easy to drift high. The corner exits are really strange around here, especially out of turn number 4. Ooh. But Lehman hits it early.
Garrett Rainey just had to absolutely put on the binders not to run Jeff Langston over into turn number 3. And as a result of him being diligent, he is going to lose at least 2 spots, including one to Lehman.
Boy, it is bunched up back there. Yakes is a part of that. It looks like, I don't know who that was. I think it was Zittel was maybe in the wall. No, might have been Peterson. I think Luke Peterson in the 89 got up into the wall. And that was actually on an entry into turn number 1. Just got in there way too hot, it looked like.
And you mentioned it, the drivers maybe a little bit later in the run pushing up into the wall, but man, it really, this setup especially is a little bit tight here. It does not take much to push straight up the track into the wall. It is a lot easier than you would think. Oh,
farther back.
Saves it.
He was off into the track. I didn't see exactly what happened. I didn't get a great look at it.
I believe contact maybe with Jeff Smith sent the 32 around in front of Poliski. They are 3 wide. John Kay, Steve Vroman.
Oh! Zittel's going to get turned! Salamone got into the wall!
4 trucks involved in that one, and that is our first caution in a long time.
Wow, Salamone got up into the wall and was trying to jerk the truck away from it and came down into Zittel is what looked like happened. We'll, let's go ahead and take a look here.
Jeff Smith might have gotten through that one. Johnny Nielsen is involved. Kyle Zittel involved. Dakota DeMade with some damage as well.
And Salamone, yeah, he just, I don't know, maybe some netcode with wall. I don't know. That was really weird. He just seemed to jerk the wheel to the left. And Zittel, who already had a little bit of right side damage, gets turned head on into the outside wall there. And everybody tries to scramble to check up. DeMade's going to take heavy damage. .36 of Nielsen took a lot of damage there as well.
Definitely netcode between Salamone and Zittel, no question about that. They might have made contact anyway, but yeah, you're right on the Salamone coming off the wall. I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
It just seemed really strange. It was almost like the sim acted like he made hard contact with the wall, but he wasn't actually on the wall, and all of a sudden the wheel turned left. I don't know. It was just really strange.
And if you've noticed a couple of the more violent accidents that we've had in the Venom Truck Series over the last couple of weeks, we've had way more instances of people getting caught in the wall and flung up into the air. So
that is true.
There's definitely something going on with the mapping of the bodies of these trucks right now and the walls to where they just seem to have some sort of ill effect. There's also a chance that Salamone maybe thought he was drifting up into the wall and was trying to make an evasive maneuver to not hit the wall and just sort of overdid it. That is entirely possible as well. But I'm certainly willing to give Salamone the benefit of the doubt, not only because of, you know, he's usually one of the better drivers and one of the cleaner drivers, but the wall and the damage model and the bodies right now are weird. So we will we'll look into that one further as an admin group after the race. But the streak ends. The streak is over. 417 consecutive green flag laps, but we are under caution for the first time since Dover here in Truck 200.
Well, it was quite a run.
It was.
But it was going to happen. It was going to come to an end one way or another. And,
I think you're right.
It just happens to come tonight.
So under this yellow flag period, we had Johnny Nielsen on pit road, as well as Hunter Leach, James Lehman, John Kay, Jeff Smith, Dakota DeMade, Luke Peterson, Kyle Zittel, and Troy Thomas. if they weren't involved in that accident, everybody that hit pit road was involved in some sort of scuffle and picked up damage. So not a surprise to see any of these drivers on pit road. A couple of drivers still on pit road with some lengthy repairs to do. Johnny Nielsen is 1 lap down now. Hunter Leach is 1 lap down, as well as Troy Thomas and John Kay. So, and Kyle Zittel is still on pit road as well as the leaders are approaching. Nobody has a meatball flag right now, but everybody just getting some damage fixed here before we get back rolling.
We have some more chatters here in the YouTube chat. William Leach, I'm assuming this was probably before the race started. He disagrees with the sentiment that Illinois should own that border. He thinks it should go to Missouri. So I think he will be promptly kicked out of the league after tonight.
Lovely.
Also, shout out to Flinky Roberts for hanging out here with us tonight. He posted in the Venom Discord that he's hoping to be back in racing. I don't remember if it was this week or maybe next week, but sometime soon. So, Flink, we've missed you. We enjoy calling your races and seeing you out there on the track. So, hoping that you participate in a race coming up soon. But hope everything is well.
I believe that was tomorrow night's race at Darlington, which will be the Venom Southern 225. It'll be right here, and you're not going to want to miss it. As the pace car hangs a left onto pit road, Scott Patton has led them all thus far. Justin Michael lined it up to his outside. It's still teammates 1-2, and we're back to green here at Gateway. Not a great start there for Justin Michael. He is going to have his hands full with Caleb Bensey looking to the inside into turn number 1.
And Bensey hanging on strong here. Almost some contact between Dye and Langston going into one, but Bensey has the bottom, and now Michael will get clear.
Yeah, Rainey getting shuffled a little bit further back in the pack is Adam Cantwell. Oh, man, is running tight with Andy Poliski. He got moved way up the track there into turn number 3. Scott Patton still leading the way as, Lehman and Poliski.
Oh, and Lehman comes back up into traffic, tags Peterson.
James Lehman, Adam Cantwell. I just mentioned Adam Cantwell and Andy Poliski, so something developed after they were running in close proximity out of turn number 4 to kick that one off. James Lehman also involved, and then he tags Luke Peterson right at the tail end of the crash there. Yeah, we are under
already
caution
started
for the second time. Oh, man.
Let's go ahead and we're going to go all the way back here to turns 3 and 4, and we'll go ahead and play it quickly. Full speed here for you. This is Lehman in the 05, Poliski just in front of him. Poliski tries to kind of clear himself, and there wasn't a whole lot of room there. Oh, and he tries to slow down going into the corner, and Lehman just gets right into the back of him. And as Lehman tries to corral it, he spins around to the outside and tags Peterson. Take one more look here. Looks like Poliski was just trying to get slowed down a little bit earlier. He also had a truck in front of him that he was needing to be wary of as well. I believe that may have been Cantwell.
Yes, it was.
So Poliski slows down for Cantwell. Poliski actually gets into the back of Cantwell from that. Cantwell goes for a little slide, but he corrals it. So a couple of, well, actually, Cantwell does end up in the wall. Couple of tough races for Andy Poliski this last week on turn 200. And it looks like nobody came down pit road that's in that lead pack. Is that right?
I believe that is correct. Everybody that came down pit road has already gotten damage or was involved in that accident. So it was Troy Thomas, who is now disconnected. He should be the first retiree of the night, unfortunately. Adam Cantwell, Jeff Smith, Dakota DeMay, James Lehman, and Luke Peterson. All involved in accidents if they weren't involved in that one. So I know we've got a couple of chatters here for Ogre Jeff Smith. So it's looking like it's going to be another tough night for Jeff Smith. Although, if people keep taking themselves out left and right, you never know where you're going to end up, as long as you don't end up on the back of a wrecker.
Yeah, we've already seen it's going to be a tough night. We talked about it early, and it's reared its head.
Yeah, we are approaching, 10% of the way through this race? And we've spent half of it under caution, unfortunately.
We're pretty much exactly 10% through this thing. In about a half a lap we will be. And yeah, second caution of the night already. And unfortunately around here, they are slow ones. If we have a whole bunch tonight, we might have to get some intermission entertainment on board.
Yeah. Well, are you going to provide that?
Well, I don't know. I'm a little rusty on my intermission entertainment, so I don't know if I'm quite ready for that tonight.
Yeah, all the prep that we did, I didn't prep you for any fill time or entertainment, puppetry, juggling, nothing of the sort. So. Let's go through the full field here as we're going to double up behind the pace car this time and send them back around to the green flag this next time around. Scott Patton has led them all thus far. Justin Michael will restart to his outside as Patton elects the inside. Caleb Bensi then will line up on the inside of row number 2 with Roland Holt to his outside. He's up 2 spots. TJ Bartel has dropped 1 spot to 5th. Ryan Dye is up 1 spot to 6th. Jeff Langston up 3 spots to 7th. Garrett Rainey holding suit there in 8th. Up 2 spots right now. The points leader, Joe Yakes, is up to 9th. And up 10 spots, Gavin Sanders has cracked the top 10. It's Paul Ellison on 11th, Steve Roman 12th, Will Salamone in 13th, Brantley Gainey in 14th, Dakota DeMade with damage in 15th, Jeff Smith likewise in 16th. James Lehman involved in that last accident. He's back in 17th now, as is Adam Cantwell in 18th, Luke Peterson then P19. And Hunter Leach got the lucky dog. He is the final truck on the lead lap here in 20th. Johnny Nielsen is 1 lap down running in 21st. Andy Poliski, I believe, is still getting repairs done on pit road, so he is going to fall a 3rd lap down here as the pace car works towards pit road once again, coming to the restart on lap number 18. We'll see if we can get some green flag laps in here. I know Scott Patton wants to. Green is out. Another good launch for Bensi, but a little bit better this time from Justin Michael. Roland Holt is going to stick his nose in there as well.
A battle between Bartel and Ryan Dye back. That's for 5th as well. Michael does get clear of Bensi.
Bartel really sent it in there to get clear of Ryan Dye. Dye is going to have a little bit of a peek back to the outside here, but Bartel may hold on to the spot.
Farther back, your series points leader, who has had some run-ins with the man on his outside. It's Joe Yakes and Gavin Sanders. Sanders is up 11 spots now. He's stayed clear of the mayhem. He's up to 9th, your series leader, Joe Yakes, in the 87 and 10th.
Watching diligently through the field here. You can just get a couple more laps in. Might be okay to go on a long stint here.
You can see those corner exits are just uncomfortable. Joe Yakes yanks it way off the wall coming out of 2. Felt like he was about to get into it. Salamone and Steve Roman battling behind them. This is for the 11th spot. Excuse me, the 12th spot. And Salamone has some damage and is falling now. Looks like he might be headed into the pits. I'm not sure what happened there. I know he had some damage from before, maybe just didn't have enough green flag laps to fully understand how damaged he was.
He's just running a little bit lower line there into turn number 3. It's the top 4 trucks right now. Actually make it the top 6, 7 trucks are pretty much running nose to tail here. And there goes Jeff Langston looking to the inside of Ryan Dye. Trying to run Dye a little bit up the track there in turns 1 and 2. They stay side by side all the way down the back straightaway.
Well, this is a track that you can carry quite a bit of momentum around the outside, especially through turns 1 and 2 on that outside lane. Seems like the bottom can carry a little more speed through turns 3 and 4, so the advantage is not quite there.
Oh,
boy, these two.
Locks it up there.
Oh, and he's going to stack up. Rainey gets into the back of him. Sanders is there now. Oh, and Sanders hits the wall on the outside coming out of 2.
Oh, man. Behind them, Brantley Gainey and James Lehman made some contact as well. So big stack up all the way through the field there. As right now, Justin Michael is starting to inch his way towards the race leader, his teammate, Scott Patton. Cut the gap at half that last time by. It's just over a 10th and a half.
Four truck battle now there in front of Langston. Rainey's going to get the worst of it. He's the one that initially got into Langston when he had to check up so bad, and he's now been passed by 3 trucks, Sanders, Yakes, and Ellison in the 55.
Mr. Consistency, Paul Ellison, back in the field after taking a provisional for some family time at Chicagoland. But he's putting in some work here already. Up a couple of spots and is looking for a couple more here.
Up in front, Justin Michael has closed right to the rear bumper of Patton. He looks to the inside here.
Justin has been taking a different line through 3 and 4, and it's been eating away at that advantage that Scott Patton has. We'll see if Patton is going to switch things up or if Michael is going to keep at it, because it's definitely working.
Let's go ahead and take a little cockpit view here. See if he's going to be able to make a pass.
View?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. A kick pod? Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, the kick pot view is here goes Michael now back to the inside. Oh, has to bind it up just a little bit, but he's still going to be on the attack here out of turn number 2. A little bit wiggly, trying to hold on to that bottom. Pass his teammate for the lead for the second race in a row. He's going to get it done.
Oh.
Patton flirting with the wall there.
He actually got into it just a little bit.
Patton a peek to the inside, but then he tucks right back into line. And that is all done and dusted for the meantime. Then again, maybe not. Patton has a little bit of a run here off of turn number 2. Justin Michael has been very open about some of the games that he plays, hanging back, saving his stuff, maybe lulling the drivers that are in front of him into a false sense of security. It may be that the shoe is on the other foot now.
Roland Holt!
Roland Holt absolutely pounds the wall to turn number 4. There is significant damage to the right side of that tide ride.
Boy, and we've seen it a
left
couple.
side damage as well. I think he got into the inside wall when he bounced off.
He did. We've seen it a couple of times already, just how awkward that exit of turn 4 is. Roland Holt is just the latest victim.
So Holt maintaining, I believe, 6th place right now, but he's got Jeff Langston closing in on him, who's on quite a run, as is Gavin Sanders right behind Langston. So these should be some pretty easy pickup and put downs with some significant damage to both sides of that number 50 truck now.
Yeah, Langston goes around pretty easy here. Now Sanders will look to the inside, and yeah, there's just too much damage to be able to even really put up a fight here, unfortunately.
Holt at this point hoping for a caution, hoping not to be it as well. Man, he gets right up next to the wall there again.
Well, Langston did the same thing. We're starting to get a little bit deeper into this run, and these trucks are going to start getting really tight if you're trying to get back into the gas like you were earlier on in the run. So our drivers are going to have to be weary of that. Still a lot of racing to go.
Langston, Sanders, Yakes, Ellison, and Rainey have all gone through on Roland Holt, rather, in the last lap and a half. That is certainly on the slide right now. And speaking of being on the slide, Scott Patton is over half a second behind Justin Michael now. James Lehman is hitting pit road.
Lehman did have some damage, so maybe looking to pit early, get a little bit of that fixed.
Maybe be on an alternate strategy here if we do get under a caution for too long, or just be on the freshest tires here as the sun is starting to go down. The track has cooled off since the start of practice by 8 degrees. It was right at 100 when it opened up.
Yeah, it's been going down pretty consistently at the green flag drop. I want to say it was only 92. Whoa, Joe Yakes almost into the wall, out of 2 again. That's the same spot we saw before. The lap previously, he was looking to the underneath side of the 10 of Gavin Sanders, and now he will have to play some catch-up. Sanders closes in on the number 1 of Langston.
Wow, Ellison really sends it in deep there. Up front, it's pretty much 4-truck breakaway right now with Justin Michael, Scott Patton, Caleb Bency, and TJ Bartell. Ryan Dye not too far behind in P5. So I guess you could call that a 5-truck breakaway, rather, as it's another 2.5 seconds back to Jeff Langston there in 6th. He's leading that massive gaggle behind him. That extends all the way down to 11th.
We're on the gyro cam here with Sanders, and you can see the tires slipping out to the outside. That rear end of the truck just wanting to kind of skate around behind him. He's to the underside of Langston. Not a lot of room, but he stuffs it in there.
Langston has the run down the corner, but Sanders may still be able to sneak some positioning here to the inside. It's a question of how much Langston is going to play defense. He sort of leaves the door open. Sanders is going to walk right through.
And Sanders is going to have to worry about Yakes if he's not able to complete this pass.
Man, Langston came up off the wall. That was incredibly tight. Yakes is going to go through as well, or at least try. I think Langston is going to give both of them the spot. So, yeah, move Gavin Sanders up another.
Oh, Langston has a run.
Langston has a run. He tries not to put it on the wall, but he's going back to the inside of the points leader here. Whoa, Yakes absolutely sends it there into turn number 1. Langston is going to try and cross him over.
Whoa!
Oh, Langston!
Oh, he can't save it. Oh, and into the inside wall, he hits hard.
Oh, my gosh.
Man, he did his best to not get into anybody on the outside of him, but he ends up paying the price.
Well, I tried to click the caution twice there, and it didn't go. So I'm not sure what that is. But apparently we're going to stay green despite my best efforts there.
You did about what the opposite of what NASCAR would do.
Yeah.
Even though you tried to hit it, it didn't fly.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is there. Not too happy all of a sudden, but yeah, it's a meatball flag for Jeff Langston. I think even if the caution came out, Jeff Langston was going to be in a pretty tough spot to keep going and be competitive here in this race. As Justin Michaels pulled out to a 1.6 second lead, all of a sudden Caleb Bensey is filling up the mirror of the 46.
Well, we know obviously Bensey doesn't race these types of vehicles very often, but he is one of the best when it comes to conserving tire and managing tires in the open wheel circuit, if you will. So it doesn't really surprise me that he's coming on strong here at the end of a run.
Hunter Leach is getting ready to come down pit road. He has hit the access road. Drivers have been requested to make sure that they hit that access road rather than trying to sneak through that little bitty gap at the end of the grass. If everybody tries to get in that way, things are going to bottle up in a hurry. So
here goes Bensey. Oh, man, he kind of stuffed it in there. He drifted up a little bit.
He's still going to have the run here off the corner, though. Actually, he gets a little bit loose, gives that momentum back to Patton as they work towards turn number 3.
Boy, Patton really sent it in there on the outside and is able to make it stick. He absolutely railed that corner.
There's still life in Scott Patton here, and he's dropped another 2.5 tenths of a second to the race leader while he's been battling. Oh, Steve Vroman just clobbered the wall at turn number 4. Keeps it pointed and moving, and we stay green.
Don't look now, but TJ Bartel was kind of closing in here as these two battle. And we said 50 to 60 laps for a fuel stint, although we had a couple of cautions. I would guess they could probably stretch it to maybe 55, or excuse me, maybe 65 if they really wanted to, probably, after having about 5 or 6 caution laps.
Yeah, I believe we've had 6 laps under caution thus far, so you would think you'd be able to stretch it another 3 or 4 laps out of that. And these fuel save savvy drivers are going to save more fuel anyway.
For a while, Joe Yakes was glued right to the back bumper of Sanders. He's fallen back quite a bit. He's almost 2 seconds behind Sanders now.
Sanders in 6th and Yakes in 7th.
That's going to be huge for the points for Joe Yakes. He's going to need every point that he can get here in the closing stretches. Only 4 races left after tonight.
And Justin Michael right now, the race leader. He's got the purple lap as of right now, 34.038. If he can get the purple lap here tonight, he will be the first driver in Truck 200 to have multiple fastest laps of the race. We've not had a repeat thus far, which is an interesting stat. We've had fast drivers all the way through the field in every single race. But Justin Michael could be the first repeat here tonight. We'll see if anybody is going to take advantage of the cooler track conditions and bust out a real fast lap here. Once we get some freshies on these guys in probably the next 15 to 20 laps is when we're expecting pit stops to start, as long as we can keep her green. Big if.
Yeah, certainly a big if. As these tires start to wear, you're going to see more people start drifting up the track into the walls, which we've seen early on in the runs as well. So nothing's coming easy here.
And I think what's interesting about our 2 very quick early cautions is that, at least in my mind, there was a chance that somebody was going to try a 3-stop strategy, use all their sets of tires under green if we stayed green. But even just those 10 laps of caution and not caution sort of takes that 3-stop strategy realistically out of contention. You can debate whether or not it would be successful in the first place, but I would be willing to bet that nobody's going to even try now.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. I mean, 2 stops were basically kind of cutting the rest of the race in thirds, I guess you would say. From the end of those caution laps, I think maybe our last caution period was going green on lap 14, something around there. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be trying a 3-stop race here, unless obviously we have cautions late in this run.
Yeah, if we have a caution late in the race, then all bets are off, as we found out yesterday at at Phoenix. Oh, Justin Michael is in the grass. What happened? Justin Michael in the infield grass down the back straightaway. He's back in third. Did he get loose off of turn number 2?
I didn't see exactly what happened. I was watching a battle between Vroman and Holt. I don't really see any right side damage. Let me see if I can find a replay.
What's going to be interesting is that he hit the infield road course rumble strips very hard. Actually got the front end of that truck up in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting to see if he's got any front end damage after that.
It didn't look like he made contact with the outside wall, but you're right. He went airborne, pulled a bit of a Joey Logano a la Las Vegas.
Wow.
And he's back into third now.
And with his hands full, hot tires, TJ Bartel right behind him now. And Scott Patton, after that, has reassumed the race lead with Caleb Benzie right behind him.
Man, how quickly things can change. We've seen nothing but ultra consistency from Justin Michaels so far, but just a little lapse there, and you can see how quickly things change.
I will say, I've seen a couple of times where Michael got a little bit wiggly on that right rear tire, and he's talked about in his post-race interviews before how his right rear tires have come back a little bit more worn than maybe other drivers. So I think maybe he's somebody that just leans on the rear of the truck and got way loose, out of shape that time. As Dakota DeMade has just hit the wall to turn number 2. And he is not too far in front of the race leaders here. But yeah, Scott Patton back out front. And what I was going to say when I was bringing up that Justin Michael had the purple lap of the race is that pretty quickly he was going to overtake Scott Patton for leading the most laps in this race. Now, it's not going to happen, at least for a while. So the pit window is open, but again, we had about 6 laps under caution, 2 cautions thus far in this race. As my sim just tabbed out. That's awesome. It has just been a night, I tell you what. On the
Welcome
track,
back, partner.
Yeah. Feeling the love here tonight from all my equipment. Garrett Rainey has just hit pit road. He was just, I believe, inside of the top 10. So we'll have to see if this is going to start bringing some people through the field onto pit road here.
Well, it will likely not be too long, although we have seen some of our drivers push it as far as they can. Actually, Joe Yakes is on pit road. I was just about to mention he's one of them that usually pushes it as far as he can, but he's actually an early pitter today.
Steve Roman would be the other one we would normally look at to go long, but he's been in the wall already. I'm sure he wants to get his damage fixed. So, yeah, we may see a bit of the turning of tables, if you will, here under the pits. Scott Patton is usually the first one of the leaders on the pit road and usually goes way earlier than anybody else. We'll have to see what is going to happen here under green flag pit stops. Lap number 57 goes up on the board. And to his credit, Justin Michael is closing back in on these top 2. So he's not done pushing yet.
He must not have really taken damage on the front of that truck. I would have thought there would have been a more of a noticeable lap time difference.
And if this weren't the sim, to be clear, that car would be totaled.
Yeah,
The way he
yeah,
hit that.
most definitely.
But there's not a way to really remove the splitter here with the damage model on the sim. So he sort of gets away with it, although he does lose the lead. So I don't know really what you would consider getting away with it at that point. The fact that maybe he's still racing would probably be a good indication.
Race leaders and everybody else still out on the track.
Yeah, it's just been Rainey and Yakes so far, the lead lap trucks. Hunter Leach did pit earlier, but I think he had some damage to fix. Either that or he just wanted to get off sequence. I believe that's Hunter Leach right there, staying high for the leaders, unless it's not.
That's actually Kyle Zittel.
Ah.
Zittel in a bit of a different paint scheme than we normally see out of him this week.
I think Justin Michael's coming to pit road. Yes, he is. Using that access road. Being a good boy, he's going to send it on pit entry here. And gets it woed down in time to hit pit road speed, 45 miles an hour. Ryan Dye, Gavin Sanders are going to follow the 78 onto pit road.
Caleb Bency sort of closing in a little bit on Scott Patton. I would assume that they are coming down into the pits as well. I might take that back. They are not.
So again, it's backwards from what we normally see from Patton and Michael. It's usually Patton in first, Michael in second. But with the problems that Justin Michael has been experiencing, you can't blame him for wanting to get onto pit road as soon as possible. As Luke Peterson and Roland Holt just made contact at a turn number 2. They both pick up 4Xs.
All right, so let's see where Joe Yakes comes out in comparison to...
Here comes Scott Patton, the race leader, onto pit road this time.
Some of the others. He's leapfrogged Ryan Dye and Gavin Sanders so far. Was not able to get in front of Justin Michael, though. And Dye and Sanders are only about a second and a half behind. They will probably be able to make that up on fresh tires here. Dye came into the pits out of 5th for reference.
Adam Cantwell is coming to pit road, as is Roland Holt, who has more damage.
So Benzie stayed out another lap. He is now in behind somebody else. Hopefully that didn't slow his pit entry time up too bad, although I have a feeling it might have.
Johnny Nielsen is the driver in front of him. He gets down onto the left side of pit road. Gavin Sanders on Freshies just set his quickest lap of the race. Still about 3/10 off of the purple lap, though. But the times are coming down for some of these drivers on fresh tires. Will Salamone on pit road.
Paul Ellison coming in this time as well.
Paul Ellison assuming the race lead.
Out comes Bency, and yeah, his pit time was pretty poor.
Yeah, pretty well behind some of the other drivers here.
He actually comes out
Roman
behind DeMade.
Those are two drivers that are no strangers to one another.
Certainly.
Brantley Gainey, Paul Ellison on pit road. Don't want to jinx it, but we have not had a black flag yet under this green flag cycle.
Whoa, little bit of a cluster here. Adam Cantwell checked up. They were like 3 wide, and then somebody tried to stuff it 4 wide. There's a lot of activity going on right now. That's just inside the top 10.
Up front, we're going to have a race for what is the lead right now between Justin Michael and Scott Patton. They are nose to tail working down the front straightaway.
Joe Yakes is backed up to Gavin Sanders and Ryan Dye now. On older tire, he came in at least 4 laps ahead of anybody else, other than Rainey.
The actual leader right now is Steve Roman. He is hitting pit road this time. That is going to give the lead over to Luke Peterson. Jeff Smith is still out on track as well. They are the final 2 lead lap holdouts here. I think Smith is about to be overtaken by Patton on the track here, as Luke Peterson is leading his first laps here in Truck 200.
Hey, now might be a good time to mention, some of you might know that we do a NASCAR recap series. It's called Recap 200.
I was trying to bring that up earlier. That was going to be my Phoenix segue, and then that's when the Justin Michael bit happened. So sort of lost my clean segue there. But yeah, go ahead.
That's all right. We usually do it pre-recorded and post-produced. Should have been out this morning. However, we had some technical difficulty. Shocker, Turn 200 has some technical difficulty, I know. Tommy's audio did not record, so I went to edit last night and had nothing to work with. So we are doing it live after Truck 200 tonight. So we will go off air, collect some thoughts about the race, and probably, I don't know, not too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes after the conclusion of Truck 200, we will be going live with the first live edition of Recap 200. So you are not going to want to miss that. We'll talk about the race from Phoenix, the Cup Series race from Phoenix on Sunday. Yesterday, that was. And if you want to join us in the chat, we can talk about that race, or if you have thoughts about the season in general or just NASCAR in general, go ahead, stop by, and tell us what you think, because we really haven't had a chance to communicate with anybody about the whole season. So you'll want to stop by and listen to that after Truck 200's over tonight.
Looking forward to everybody stopping by here, as Luke Peterson is still out on the track. This is going to be a pass for the lead outright here. Scott Patton is going to pass the 89 and take the lead. He has put just a little bit of distance between he and Justin Michael right now. And the gap is going to increase just a little bit there after Peterson gets a bit into the way of the 78 of Justin Michael. But that is for position, so that's all fair in love and war.
Yeah, and here after pit stops, they're going to start coming up on lap traffic a lot sooner than they would before. They're going to everybody's pretty spread out, though. It shouldn't be really much of an issue, but it is just something to keep in mind. as they are going around here, as we are over. Are we over? No, we are not. We are just under halfway through the race, if I could do the math. Aren't I supposed to be the one that's good at that?
I don't know if either of us are supposed to be good at it. And that's good because I'm not. But I guess you probably need it more than I do.
Here a little farther back, Adam Cantwell is right behind the 96 of Jeff Smith. Smith in 16th, Cantwell 17th, and Joe Yakes.
For position. Joe Yakes is not for position.
Yeah, Joe Yakes is on the lead lap.
Smith and Cantwell 1 lap down.
Yakes on much older tires than the rest of the field here. Or most of it anyways.
Kyle Zittel just got up into the wall to turn number 2. And he is going to bring it into pit road this time.
Yeah, been a tough night for the 53. It's his first night back from a little bit of a vacation. And he was treated with a nice one here tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, he missed the race where I had him penciled in to win to the Layton River Memorial at Atlanta for the Venom Truck Series, which was top to bottom absolute carnival circus of a race. But I mean, Kyle Zittel could have very easily walked away with that one if he were there. But yeah, instead he gets to slog it out here tonight at Gateway, unfortunately for him.
Now we saw Dakota DeMade come into the pits as well. He has a lot of damage on that truck, so just trying to get a little bit of that fixed.
Yeah, Dakota's been into the wall, into other trucks. It's not been the kind of night that Dakota, if I could talk here, has wanted. Justin Michael working through some lap traffic. The gap has increased to over a second now between he and his teammate Scott Patton, who is back out front here after all is said and done with the green flag pit cycle.
And Caleb Bency has reassumed his position in third after a tough pit stop. He is looking to try and regain a little bit of that time that he lost on pit entry.
Yeah, 2.1 seconds rather behind Justin Michael. But that gap has come down just a little bit in the last couple of laps. Despite the fact that Bency is working through lap traffic.
Sanders has picked up another spot on green flag pit stops. He is now in 5th in front of Ryan Dye. And then Joe Yakes in 7th as he was before the green flag pit stops.
Well, while we got a second, let's take a look at the rest of the races this season. It's kind of nuts. This closing stretch kicked off tonight with Gateway, which has already proved to be a difficult challenge for everybody, top to bottom. Next week is Interlagos, the second and final road course on the season. Good God, I cannot tell you how excited I am for that.
You're excited. Everybody else is not. I should say
50-50.
I shouldn't say everybody else, but I've heard a lot of people that are saying Interlagos, when they saw the schedule, was the one they were looking forward to the least. So that's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
It's the road course guys are really all thinking that they have a chance to win at Interlagos. That includes the RL guys that are sort of peeking in and out here. That includes some of the road course guys like Andy Poliski, Ryan Dye. I've heard that they are very excited about this race. I have no idea. Justin Michael says he's an oval guy, but he also says that he's not very good at Gateway, and he's running P2 right now. So, yeah, I mean, you really have the wild card guys. You do not know who has the best shot to come out of Interlagos with a good run. It is going to be absolutely nuts. And then you follow Interlagos up with Daytona, another wild card race where literally anybody can win that race. That is going to be just heaps and heaps of fun there. Steve Froman has crashed down the back straightaway. Hits the outside wall and then down into the inside wall. He's going to try and keep it rolling here. But he has picked up a meatball flag, running just inside of the top 10. That is probably going to spell the end of the night for Steve Froman, unfortunately. Oh, man.
I'm trying to see what happened here to Mr. Vroman. And a lot of the same as what happened to Justin Michael, although he actually hit the outside wall. Oh, man, and he creamed the inside wall.
When it rains, it pours, unfortunately.
Scott Patton has opened up a 1.6 second gap over the 78 of Justin Michael here.
He's got Kyle Zittel behind him, who was on fresh tires. 11 laps down, had to do some lengthy repairs after a first caution of the night. So Zittel is probably going to blow by the race leader here. Yeah, maybe not.
Well, Zittel has quite a bit of damage from throughout the night.
But he did pull up on him pretty quick there, so I thought maybe he was going to give it a go at least and get a lap back the hard way.
Seems like he's really fast through the corners, but might not have the top speed that the undamaged trucks have. Or the acceleration, that is.
Really sends it there.
Yeah, you can see, you can pull right up to him in the turns, but once he tries to accelerate out of him, he loses a lot of time.
That could also just be him trying to give the leader plenty of space here.
Yeah, that could be.
Kyle, pretty conscious driver. But I think you're probably right that there's a whole lot of drag down those straightaways on 3 truck, unfortunately. As in front of the race leader, I believe, is Brantley Gainey, who he is absolutely on a roll on Tuesday night. Right now, he's the last truck on the lead lap here in 10th. So Scott Patton putting in work here tonight. But Brantley Gainey got his first career Venom Truck Series win in Atlanta, and then followed it up with a runner-up finish at North Wilkesboro the very next week. That 22 is hot right now on Tuesdays.
I'll tell you what, if there's one race I want to put on my schedule next year, it's North Wilkesboro. That race in the Venom Truck Series was unbelievable. As Gainey actually gets into the wall trying to avoid, it didn't look like it was too hard of a hit. But that race at North Wilkesboro in the Venom Truck Series was a great one. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better race to be able to call on my own. They gave me everything I ever could have wanted to talk about, and a lot of action on track that I didn't even have to talk about. It was just fun to watch. So shout out to everybody that took part in that one. But I'll tell you what, that's one to look at putting on our schedule at some point.
Absolutely agree. The race for Jeff Smith is over, unfortunately. He has come over the chat and said that he has a family emergency to tend to, so hoping everything is okay for Jeff Smith and his immediate family. Yeah, hopefully that all goes well. But that is going to be the end of the night for the 96 here tonight, unfortunately. As I believe he will join now Jeff Langston, James Lehman, Andy Poliski, Troy Thomas, John Kay as the retirees of this race. I believe we've got 19 trucks running now. Steve Roman just got his meatball flag cleared, so he is cleared to return to the track, and I believe he has already, actually. He is 6 laps down. Kyle Zittel running in 20th. He is the last truck running right now, 11 laps down. But up front, it's still Scott Patton. He is just sort of putting time here and there on Justin Michael. Up over 2 seconds now. As Hunter Leach gets out of the way of the race leader. Not sure how much he was getting away. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, we're on board with Justin Michael on the gyro cam, and he absolutely sent it into turn 1 and then got extremely loose out of 2. He is really trying to wheel this thing.
And there's Hunter Leach. He's going to stay high for the second place driver here. Oh, man.
Maybe.
I
don't think he expected Michael to carry that much speed into 1.
So Leach stays high. He's now let Caleb Bency through as well. Caleb Bency's interval to the race leader, Scott Patton, has stayed right about that 3.3 second mark, but Justin Michael is backing up to Caleb Bency. So I don't think, if things continue the way that they're going right now, I don't think we're going to be too far away from a battle for second. There's not really any, especially among the lead lap trucks, there is not a position battle right now. Patton up over 2 seconds on Justin Michael. Another second back to Caleb Bency. TJ Bartell is another 3 seconds behind Bency. Gavin Sanders 4 seconds behind Bartell. Another 3 seconds back to Ryan Dye. And then 6 more seconds from Dye to Joe Yakes, who runs in 7th. Paul Ellison is closing in on Joe Yakes. He's within a second now in P8. And Garrett Rainey, right now the last truck on the lead lap in 9th. 6 seconds behind the battle between Yakes and Ellison.
Hey, as all that was happening, I'm not sure we ever finished our little discussion about the rest of the schedule.
Oh, yeah, so Daytona, of course, Interlagos next week, Daytona the week after that. And then the final 2 races of the season are at Phoenix, which everybody knows kind of anything goes at Phoenix with the Dogleg Open. That is an open dogleg race on New Phoenix. And then Auto Club, which is less of a wild card, I think. But it's certainly, I mean, it's Auto Club. The racing is great there. And it really takes a good driver to come away with a win around the big 2-mile bumpy Auto Club. So a pretty wild closing stretch, last 5 races of the season, starting with tonight, which we are just now over the halfway mark of this race. We said it was going to be a long one. And we are just across halfway, and we're almost to the hour mark.
I'm not sure what happened to Joe Yakes. It looks like he made contact with the outside wall at some point, as Paul Ellison is only 0.3 of a second, just a couple truck lengths back from Joe Yakes, and you can see his front right of his hood is crinkled up a little bit. So not sure exactly what happened, but he hit the wall somewhere, and Paul Ellison has closed in on him now.
So this will be for 7th, if Ellison can get this done.
Meanwhile, I'm watching that. Caleb Bency, I thought was not going to be able to go around Justin Michael very quickly. He's already around him.
Yeah, he's disposed of him very quickly. That was, I mean, he was still outside a half a second that last time by, and now he is past the 78 of Justin Michael. So, yeah, what a quick turnaround here. And this could be, again, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, him saving his equipment, especially at the end of that last run, how squishy his rear tires had to be. But this could be Justin Michael conserving a little bit, or this just could be him fading away from the lead here.
Well, I'll rack a replay up for the Bency pass on Michael, but we'll watch this battle between Yakes and Ellison here for a little bit to see if anything develops.
I think what's developing is some sweaty palms as Yakes nearly up into the wall at a turn.
Yeah, Yakes is having a hard time wheeling this truck right now. Looks like he got up into the wall once, and he's been flirting with it a couple more times. Ellison to the bottom. Yakes will carry momentum around the top for right now.
Yakes going to fight tooth and nail. He's proved that time and time again.
Man, he gets
he doesn't
right
fight
up to
himself
that,
into the wall.
He gets right up to that wall out of 4 every time.
Track temp since green flag pit stops has gone down 2 degrees. It's now down to 90. As Steve Roman has been on and off of pit road, he has finally elected to call it a night, unfortunately. So Roman was turning laps, I think, to get past Jeff Smith, and did that, and now is going to retire. Bensie's still in that 3.2 second bubble to the lead. I mean, that interval has not changed no matter what Bensie is doing. Working through lap traffic, passing Justin Michael, it doesn't matter. It stayed right at 3.2, 3.3 seconds.
Ellison with a good run down the backstretch here. He does finally get to the underside of the 87, and I think he will clear here.
So just as Justin Michael drops a spot, Joe Yates is going to do likewise. Yates 7th to 8th now.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the points a whole lot here, but those are your top 2 points contenders right now.
Oh, wow, big wiggle there out of Yates.
Alrighty, with that battle settled, let's go ahead and take a look at the pass Caleb Bensie made on Justin Michael. Looked like Michael was really high into turn number 1. Oh, he actually slid it into turn number 1.
Wow.
He slid it into 1 and had to corral it. Bensie pulls right underneath of him. And obviously with tires that hot, Bensie's just going to clear and keep going around. So Michael definitely could have made contact with the wall there. Did a really good job to keep that from happening. I'll take one more look at this. That was insane. And I talked about that earlier in the broadcast where you can get into the corners too hot and spin it out. And that's exactly what he does. He's just able to corral it. Good job to keep from hitting the wall there, though.
So we're probably another 20 laps from another round, the final round of green flag pit stops, if we send this one all the way to the finish. There are going to be some drivers that are definitely going to want to get fresh Goodyears on these trucks as soon as possible. The gap is opening up between Patton and Bensie. He did put it pretty close to breaking that 3-second mark, but now he has slipped back about half a second in the last 5 laps. Now Justin Michael's big concern should be not backing up to TJ Bartell, who is about 1.5 seconds behind. Actually, if I could do math, it's 2.5 seconds, but the gap is closing between those two.
No, I think you were correct. I'm showing 1.4 right now.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, it was 2.5 the last time by, and I was like, man, they look a lot closer than 2.5 seconds. So he must have just reeled him in big time on the lap. Yeah, now he's 1.2 seconds behind. So Justin Michael is moving backwards in a hurry here. It's interesting to me that the track got cooler, and it seems to be working against Justin Michael more. And these are not the iRacing stock fixed setups. These are custom setups every single race. So every driver is going to have a setup that suits them more than another setup and another track. And Justin Michael's been very open about the fact that he's not the biggest fan of racing here at Gateway. But I mean, from where he's been leading up front and looking dominant since that one slip up where he went down into the grass, it's been a bit of a struggle here for Justin Michael.
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, usually I feel like we don't really see him overdrive the truck at all. You've mentioned it a lot where he just decides to kind of back it off and use the tires later on in the run. But here in this second fuel run, it seems like he's been kind of overdriving it a little bit. Getting really loose out of the corners, loose into the corners, getting really hot into turn number 1. Pretty much lap after lap. So just something a little bit different from Justin Michael than I feel like we're used to seeing.
Next time by, the fuel window to make it to the end is open. I highly, highly doubt we're going to be seeing anybody on this lead lap pitting early. Pitting that early, rather.
Yeah, the only one that might try it again is Joe Yakes, although he didn't really benefit from it last time. But he is going to be maybe 4 laps shorter than everybody else. So if he doesn't decide to really stretch it out, he could come in a little bit earlier than everybody.
4 laps is one thing, but probably 15 laps before everybody else, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know. I've been proven wrong time and time again, both by what people do and what people do successfully. So I'm not going to knock it until somebody tries it, I suppose. As we're coming to lap 107, Joe Yakes, I believe, just got up into the wall.
Yeah, and you can see the right side damage. He's been flirting with it all night long. Finally bit him. He got into the wall out of turn number 4.
And the truck that passed him was Adam Cantwell, who was 1 lap down in 13th, so that was not for position. Hunter Leach behind him is multiple laps down, so that is also not for position. But it's certainly all starting to work against Joe Yakes here, who is less than half a straightaway ahead of the race leader right now. Actually, about the full length of a straightaway, rather. But still, not that much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, his only saving grace here as far as the championship goes is that Justin Michael isn't still leading it. He's made a couple of missteps and mistakes and finds himself in 3rd. So he's getting a little bit of help from his counterpart, who is about, I want to say he was, 99 points behind him coming into this one?
Activity on pit road. Gavin Sanders has hit the pits. Here on lap, he just crossed the line to put 108 up on the board. So I talked about maybe Joe Yakes coming down early, but this is earlier than I thought anybody was going to come down here. And I don't think he'd been up into the wall or anything. He was running in P4, P5, P5 or P6, actually. So maybe just taking a big swing at it here.
Brantley Gainey has come with him. Both of them are coming out of the pits as we speak.
Gainey was sort of in that mix to be the lucky dog if the caution were to come out. He was hanging right behind the leader. Now, unfortunately, Sanders is trying to get past. Will Salamone, I think, just got up into the wall entering turn number 1.
All right, so some interesting strategy here. Yeah, Sanders, that was from 5th.
I couldn't remember if he was in front of Ryan Dye or behind him.
I'm pretty sure he was in front of Dye.
So he would be P5 then, or would have been P5. Now we'll have to see. He's going to have to make it over 50 laps on this final stint here. But you got to try something different if you're in his position, I suppose. And I think the worst that he's going to come out is maybe being the last truck on the lead lap, which would be, I think, at the end of it, 6th. Ryan Dye is on pit road.
All right, so I think Sanders coming in probably brought Dye in as well.
So Dye trying to overcut Gavin Sanders.
This makes a little bit of sense. This would make the last 2 runs pretty much 50 laps exactly for both stints.
Garrett Rainey is coming down pit road this time. He's the last truck on the lead lap right now in P8. So I think we're going to start to trickle in some of the drivers at least around the top 5 of this race. Adam Cantwell is coming down the pits as well. Luke Peterson is in. He was the last truck to pit under the last green flag cycle.
A lot of those drivers probably feel like they don't really have a whole lot to lose at this point. A lot of folks about, 10 seconds behind them, some up to 5 seconds in front of them. So maybe just want to try a little something different, see if they can go for a little bit of a Hail Mary here.
Caleb Bensi again started to eke into that gap just a little bit, but still can't get it within 3 seconds. And now in front of Scott Patton, the next truck up is Joe Yakes, who is right now in 6th, but before the green flag pit stop started, he was in 8th. Either way, it's going to spell big trouble here if Joe Yakes finds himself a lap down before the pit stops start.
Bensi started railing in Patton a little bit again here.
Yes,
we saw this at the end of the first run. He kind of fell back and then started gaining more ground on Patton right there before they came in for their pit stops, and it seems to be a bit of the same here, but he has a lot of ground to make up. He's going to have a much better access road speed and entry into pit road than he did the first time around.
First black flag of the night, and it goes to Paul Ellison.
Oh.
So that is going to help Joe Yakes, but man, that derails what had been a great race thus far for the 55. As Hunter Leach just absolutely pounded the wall heading into turn number 1.
Yeah, tough night for Leach. I know he's still having some trouble with his pedals. And I don't think he's gotten very much practice in this week either. So
no,
bit of a rough one for him here tonight.
Yeah, Gateway is a tough ask no matter what. And he's up into the wall again. Oh, man. So tough night, getting tougher for the 199, but he's sticking it out. I think he's going to come to the pits this time. That may be the end of the night. Paul Ellison's black flag is clear. He's about to re-enter the track.
Pat
right
with 2 lap trucks behind him that are on fresh tires.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Adam Cantwell, Luke Peterson, both hounding the race leader here and battling amongst themselves. That is for position. They are both 3 laps down right now. We'll cycle back out to being 1 lap down once it's all said and done, or should anyway. Yeah, Caleb Bensi is cut about a second into that gap between he and the race leader, Scott Patton. Oh, wow. Cantwell puts on the blinders and nearly gets run over Peterson.
Well, Bensi has Joe Yakes that just went around him on fresh tires. Rainey is here going around him as well.
But Bensi, again, more time cut into that deficit that last time by. He put another 3/10 on the race leader. Interesting spots for both of our leaders here. Waiting for each other to make the move, but also in amongst some heavy lap traffic who all have fresh tires. Scott Patton is coming to pit road right now. Justin Michael is coming to pit road this time. We'll just have to see if Caleb Bensi is going to do the same. Bensi is heading down pit road as well.
Oh, and Bensi really sends it in that time.
Oh, into the grass! That's about as good as that could have gone, considering. And he is going to sail it onto pit road, trying to make up the time that he lost.
He lost about a 0.5 of a second. It looked like the gap was about 2.4 when they were coming on to actually onto pit road. It looked like it was right at about 3 seconds.
I believe Joe Yakes and Luke Peterson just made contact heading into turn number 1. So that is more damage now on that 87 truck.
Patton is out.
Caleb Bensi not too terribly far behind. Justin Michael is exiting as well.
Sanders actually ended up cycling out to the lead here. He gained a lot of time with that short pit, but he will be overtaken definitely by the top 3, if not more.
Yeah, with Sanders' qualifying effort, he was always going to be in a bit of a tough spot to try and pull off a good result here tonight. But, I mean, regardless of whether or not he can hold off one of the top 3 here tonight, it's going to be a good result for Gavin Sanders, all things considered.
TJ Bartel has actually cycled into 3rd here as well in front of Bensi. I don't remember exactly when he came in. Let me see if I can take a look at
He came in
pit
on
stops.
114, which was... Oh, Sanders and Patton have made contact! Wow, Sanders is absolutely trying to block Scott Patton to hang on to the race lead. Patton this time is going to try and peek to the outside. Sanders up the track to block
Sanders
again.
is loose.
This time Patton has the look, has the run into turn number 3. Patton up the track, no contact there, but Patton eventfully is going to retake the top spot. Oh my goodness.
I didn't see that one coming.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, we talked about the different strategy. I guess we didn't put the element in there that Gavin Sanders is absolutely going to race his ass off no matter what strategy he's on. Don't forget, this is the track where Gavin Sanders won in an absolute slugfest in the RL Daredevil series.
That was one of the greatest sim races I've ever seen.
That was a fantastic race. Gavin came out on top. Yeah, the fight is not over for him, as right now behind them, or behind Gavin Sanders rather, it's TJ Bartel, who pit a little bit earlier than the leaders. Not as early as Gavin Sanders, though. Bensi overtakes Bartel. Now Bensi immediately on the attack to the inside of Gavin Sanders to go back up to P2.
Yeah, Bensi puts in a 2-for-1 on Sanders and Bartel.
Oh.
I think this race between Bartel and Sanders is going to be pretty fierce.
Ooh. Bartel got a little bit of a run there on the middle of the corner and then had to check up not to pound into the tailgate of the 10 there. As soon as this battle chills out a little bit, I want you to go back and find a replay of that scuffle for the lead. But Bartel, the door, I think, is going to be open. He's going to have a bit of a run here into turn number 3 this time. As green flag pit stops for this race are over. The only pit stops we're going to get from here on out is, I believe, if we get a caution. Everybody knock on wood. We did have 2 cautions here tonight. The streak is over. But, I mean, outside of the 2 early quick cautions that were done within the first 20 laps of the race, we've been clean and green. Well, not clean, but we've been green. I did attempt to throw a 3rd caution, and for whatever reason, my the app that I'm using was not cooperating with me. So I did try to throw another one, and who knows how that would have mixed this race up. But yep.
Well, your race leader, your race leader Patton's been working through a lot of lap traffic here. Bensi, who did gain some time with more of a clear track, now has to work through that same lap traffic. The gap was under 2 seconds at one point, but is now up to about 2.2 as Bensi has to work around Rainey, and Yakes is in front of him as well.
And there is another element that we did kind of overlook there, or at least I did, is that Bensi and Sanders are teammates.
Oh!
So it's...
Bensi gets into Rainey. He tried to go underneath of him.
Ooh.
Boy, Not much room being given here
No, certainly not.
in the last stint of this race.
Rainey was the lucky dog up until Joe Yates went a lap down a couple of laps ago. So Rainey is really trying to get on his horse here and be the first truck one lap down. Realistically, he will be the last
now
truck
Rainey's
one lap
gonna
down.
get into the back of Bensy.
Oh, brother. Bensy is going to want to sail away from this one.
Well, Bensy lost over a second of time.
Yeah,
with
1.7 seconds, actually.
Yeah, that kerfuffle really screwed him over.
What I was going to mention, though, was that Sanders' wild blocking may not have been for him, but it may have been for Bensy, because they are teammates. But all that time, maybe that he gained with the Sanders-Scott Patton scuffle, has been lost, trying to get through lap traffic.
Hey, farther back here, Justin Michael has pulled right up to the back of Bartel. Oh, there's contact with Adam Cantwell also. My goodness.
Everybody's having a tough time here.
Just when I thought things were going to really slow down, they have all of a sudden heated back up.
Michael running in fourth. He's under no threat from Gavin Sanders, but he is certainly under threat here from lap traffic as now he tries to go to the outside of TJ Bartel to put himself back on the podium. Tight
Joe
quarters
Yates in
there.
front of him gets into the outside wall again.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, Michael has to check up with Garrett Rainey right in front of him. Kyle Zittel rolls out of it and lets everybody else battle.
Justin Michael's just going to push Rainey past TJ Bartel.
He's thinking about sticking at 3 wide. That is not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh, contact, Rainey! Into the wall. He collects it. Oh, my gosh. That 13 has been used up. Goodness gracious.
We have a couple of chatters stopping in here. Cody Claiborne, good to hear from you.
Oh, my
telling good old
goodness.
Benici to do it for Dale. Another one saying Benici for president of Motorsports Games.
We don't talk about motorsports games here. Sorry.
Yeah.
He could be president of anything else, though. That's fine.
MSG only means Madison Square Garden to me.
There you go. That's the way. So Michael gets through on Bartel. Bartel has gotten through onto the lap truck of Joe Yates, so some elbow room maybe for these top 4 as they all pull away from Gavin Sanders, who is still a little bit in the thick of it. And Ryan Dye is just kind of chilling right now, 20 seconds behind the race leader.
There was some manhandling, moving and shaking going on there for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say. You could certainly tell it's been a long race. There was absolutely no F's given anywhere in any of that. From the time that Gavin Sanders threw the block on the leader, it just ratcheted up from there.
It's Mike Racing. Michael Fish also in the chat saying this is amazing. Yeah, this is something all right.
Well, we'll see. It's calmed down for now. Caleb Bensy is just barely faster than Scott Patton, but at this rate, he is not going to catch the race leader. He was, I think, like 0.05 of a second quicker that last time by. With 3.5 seconds to make up still.
One thing to note out of all of this is Joe Yates has moved up a spot.
Yes.
With Ellison's black flag on pit entry. So he's going to gain another spot. Justin Michael now past Bartel, so they're basically net even from where they were pretty much right before the green flag pit started.
So Yates is P7 right now. If the caution were to come out, he would have the lucky dog. With what happened to Garrett Rainey, which I do want to say, Garrett Rainey is entitled to that space on the track. There's certainly no debate about that. But he did an incredible job after getting thrown around to not. I mean, he may have gotten up into the wall, but that truck does not look too bad. So he did an absolutely outstanding job holding on to that truck.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly drifted up the track and just kind of gave it a little kiss, I think.
And everybody around him did a great job not to exacerbate the situation.
You can see a few scuff marks on the side of that Golden Eagle.
Gotta say, that's too bad. That's a great looking truck. It's a fantastic looking truck. I hate to see anything happen to it.
Something else of note here that we really haven't talked about all night is shifting. Pretty much everybody, I think, is shifting. At least through turns 1 and 2 for sure. Probably 3 and 4 as well.
Track temp has gone down another degree since the last round of green flag pit stop, so it's down to 89 degrees. I'm not sure how much cooler it's going to get than that. But this race, this setup, these conditions have certainly favored Scott Patton. He is back on the warpath. He's put another couple of tenths on Caleb Bency the last few laps around. We have lost Hunter Leach. He is disconnected after a very tough night for the 199. But he should finish, I believe, inside of the top 20 when it's all said and done. And in fact, I believe he'll finish 17th. So not the worst outing here tonight. A way to stick it out, partner.
Man, Scott Patton has quite a bit of damage to the front of that 46 truck.
Well, and I can tell you, it's probably a puzzle piece with the back end of the 10 truck. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much here, though, as he approaches the 55 of Paul Ellison, who is about to go a second lap down. Still inside of the top 10, though, so as far as disasters go, it certainly could have been worse for Paul Ellison here tonight. But, yeah, it's too bad. The only speeding penalty of the night belongs to the 55. $20 to go. Make it 19 and a half now. And I'm sure these laps cannot tick by any faster for Scott Patton.
Yeah, after they've gotten through on lap traffic, I think things have probably slowed down a little bit here, finally getting into a little bit of a rhythm to try and close this one out. He has a couple of trucks in front of him still, but nothing that should be an issue.
Gap came down that time by 1/10 of a second again, but still outside of 3.5 seconds. Caleb Bency, who has had a stellar debut here tonight, and not sure if I was expecting it to be this good, but you can never look past the four-time RL Schaefer's open wheel C-Class car champion.
Man, that's got a nice ring to it.
Oh, yeah, it just rolls off the frickin' tongue. I tell you what. But four-time champ, I tell you what, that does sound pretty nice.
That is something that sounds absolutely beautiful.
So, yeah, big congrats to him. Last Wednesday, he wrapped up that championship, his fourth and the final of the league. It has turned into a media aggregates Discord, and a good one at that. Our friends over at the RAL. We'll be talking more about the RAL here soon, I think.
Yeah, I think I think we'll talk about them a little bit.
So shout outs to we have some of the RAL gang out here tonight that have been watching. Cody Claiborne, you mentioned. We usually have Drew White floating around these parts as well. Christopher Kresge's usually watching or hanging out with us if he's not driving, which he's not here tonight. So hello to Christopher Kresge if you're watching. As there goes Scott Patton on Paul Ellison to put him a second lap down. And again, Caleb Bensi sort of seesawing back and forth here with Scott Patton. Will gain a couple of tenths, lose a couple of tenths, but it stays right around that 3.5-second margin. So as Adam Cantwell has just gotten up into the wall, battling with Garrett Rainey. No contact between the two, but Cantwell took a pretty good shot there to the outside wall. And is now going to have to fight off Dakota DeMade for the 11th position.
Yeah, Cantwell and DeMade are actually in a battle here for position. And these two have been through a lot of damage, a lot of incidents here tonight, but still fighting just outside of the top 10. Kudos to everybody. Oh, as DeMade gets into the outside wall again, we spoke too soon.
Oh, my gosh. And that is Luke Peterson going around the outside. That is also for position. So Peterson now up to 12th.
Oh, and
he
Peterson
sailed it into turn
sails it
one
in.
there. He was just diamond in the corner. That's what that was.
Yeah, they're trying to get a good run.
And Peterson did not have great luck in the North Wilkesboro race in the Vent Truck Series last Tuesday, but the week before that at Atlanta, pulled off his first career podium in his rookie season. So a fantastic accomplishment. Had a good look at the win there at the end, but still can't complain too much when you come away with a podium. So big congrats to him, and I think tonight is going to be one of his better Truck 200 runs. I'm not sure off the top of my head what his best finish is, but he has not had very good luck and did not have very good luck at the beginning of this race, but is turning it around here. You love to see that. Bensi has put in about 0.4 of a second on the race leader here, so he may not be done just quite yet. Still needs to get draft range here is probably around a second, maybe under that, just because of the shorter straightaways here. So some work to do and some more lap traffic to clear in the form of Will Salamone and Paul Ellison. As, Luke Peterson is in the grass down the back straightaway. Oh, my God, I jinxed him. He's going to keep it rolling. But he is going to lose that 12th position. Unfortunately, now he is going to come to the pits.
Boy, where are the T-shirts at, Tommy? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, my God. I tell you what, I owe Luke Peterson something. I don't know what it is, though. Name your price, partner. And as he enters the pits, there goes the race leader, Scott Patton. He is putting lap 150 up on the board. 11 laps to go.
We've talked about Bensi being a little bit better than Patton on the long run here, although this stint is a little bit shorter than the other two tonight. And all things staying equal for now, I don't think Bensi will be able to reel him in just based off of pure speed.
Scott Patton is half a tenth up on Bensi through the front half of the track, and Bensi is a full tenth quicker than Scott Patton on the back half, so makes up about half a tenth on a good lap for both of them. And that is not going to be quite enough, although he did pick up a tenth and a half that last time by, so he's now within 3 seconds. But he needs to start reeling him in quicker than this. Patton is getting a little bit bouncy on the right rear tire there. He was a little bit loosey-goosey there at a turn number 2.
Well, one thing for sure, Bensi has kept this truck about as clean as it can get. Everybody else in this one seems to have some sort of damage.
I think Garrett Rainey would argue against that.
Well, there's just a little crinkle in the bumper, but I mean, it looks pretty darn clean compared to most of them.
You're right, though. Outside of that skirmish with lap traffic, it has been, I would say, Caleb, other than maybe Ryan Dye, Caleb has had the cleanest race out of anybody. Ryan Dye, I don't think is in danger of going a lap down, but he is looming ahead of the race leader here. He is in P6.
Speaking of Ryan Dye, we haven't really shown him a whole lot on stream.
feel like we haven't shown him a whole lot since Talladega, to be honest with you.
Let's go ahead and show off that starry paint scheme here. It's a good-looking one.
These Venom guys are always rolling out great paint schemes. That is for sure.
I don't know if Rutherford did this one, but shout out to Corey Rutherford for
regardless.
Throwing out some bangers for the Venom Truck Series gang.
Again, Venom Truck Series in action tomorrow night with the Venom Southern 225 at Darlington. It's the penultimate round of the championship. Andy Poliski, who did not fare very well here tonight, he was an early DNF. He has a chance to lock up that championship a race early and finally break that bridesmaid curse that he has seemed to be plagued with the last couple of seasons. So a lot on the line tomorrow night at Darlington.
He also had a chance to wrap it up last week in North Wilkesboro too, and
yeah, but that one wasn't necessarily his fault. But the lady in black doesn't care.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It'll be 5 to go at the line this time for Scott Patton. Benzie is closing in, still about 2.5 seconds behind the race leader now.
You know, I mentioned about Benzie and Dye having clean trucks. TJ Bartell in 4th has a pretty darn clean one as well.
Yeah, you're
he stayed
right.
out of trouble.
You and I were talking about TJ earlier tonight as well. How he is quickly exploded, not just in this league, but also in the Venom Truck Series, as one of the top go-to guys. And he certainly showed speed straight out of the gate, and he's been a sim racer for almost as long as I've been alive, it sounds like. But, I mean, he really has just come very quickly up to speed with everybody in both the Venom Truck Series and Truck 200 here, and is, I mean, he's one of the guys that we expect to see up front. As Ryan Dye just came over the radio and says that his arm is itching.
Stay out of the way.
Oh, God. Joe Yakes says, I could use an itchy arm right now, is what Joe Yakes just said. Oh, God. I don't want to do Spingate here. I don't want to deal with that. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Three to go, I think, up front.
Yep, 3 to go, about 2.5 now.
Johnny Nielsen staying out of the way. He's had some trouble here tonight, but it's good to see Johnny finishing this one out here tonight. He's going to get a top 15 for his efforts, I do believe. We're coming around to what in dirt track racing would be the green flag. 2 laps to go. Caleb Benzie still closing, but still outside at 2 seconds.
Yeah, and with him trying to close this thing in, we have Mike Benzie in the chat. Not sure exactly who that is to Caleb, but is thanking us for broadcasting, as they've taken a little bit of an advantage of it in the past with the lack of broadcasting for other open wheel series.
Oh my God! The caution is out! They're wrecking down the front straightaway. Oh my God, Adam Cantwell, Dakota DeMade. We're going to overtime. You've got to be kidding me.
I mean, goodness.
You hate to throw the caution there, but they are sideways parked across the track with the race leader coming at them.
Boy, those two, they were battling that entire time, too. Dakota DeMade has blown up. Let's take a little looky-loo here. This is DeMade working behind Cantwell. I think Cantwell's probably going to get in the wall. He does. And, he just gets loose. Goes to the bottom of the track. He's going to try to save it. Just overcorrects. And comes straight up in front of DeMade. DeMade actually avoids it, but Cantwell is still wrecking. DeMain, it's the inside wall. Oh, my. And you're right. They just spin straight across the middle of the track here. Had to be thrown.
Not 500 feet behind them is Scott Patton coming to the white flag. Oh, my gosh. Well, the leaders are on pit road here. The race off of pit road is going to be won by Scott Patton. That is presumably their last set of tires. I think they all took 4. Scott Patton wins the race off of pit road. Caleb Benzie, he could have made with a lot of damage, came out 3rd, but Justin Michael is behind him rather. Gavin Sanders now. Wow. I don't really know what to say. Joe Yates just got the wave around as well, or the free pass rather. So Joe Yates now makes 7 trucks on the lead lap. It'll be Scott Patton, Caleb Benzie, Justin Michael, TJ Bartell, Gavin Sanders, Ryan Dye, who came out after Joe Yates. Joe Yates is coming back down pit road, though, presumably to get the rest of his damage fixed.
Well, he's the last car on the lead lap here, so not really going to hurt him too bad.
All right. It's
everybody.
Number 1 of 3 at overtime. It's only the second time that we're going to overtime in series history. I believe we had 1 overtime at Talladega, and we've not had one since then. For the 3rd caution of the race, where Scott Patton was 500 feet away from taking the white flag.
Michael Fish says, all right, who didn't knock on wood?
Somebody. I know we got plenty of damn people watching out there, and I bet at least one of you did not knock on wood. And now this is what's going to happen. This is on you.
Everybody grab the family. Tell them what's about to happen, because it could be a melee from what we saw here in the last stint of this race. It's been getting pretty testy out there, and I don't think it's going to change.
Garrett Rainey, Brantley Gainey are going to get wave arounds to get back on the lead lap. They've stayed out there. Unless something major happens, they're not really going to be a factor here on older tires, but they will at least get lead lap finishes here. So that puts 9 trucks on the lead lap. 7 will be bunched up in the lead here. And we're going to overtime. Scott Patton, we've talked about a couple of parallels between this race and Phoenix, and at least everybody up front took 4 tires. So it's not a total Kevin Harvick situation, but Scott Patton absolutely has spanked the field here tonight, and now is going to have to work really hard to make sure he can come away with it.
Well, tell me, Tommy, on fresh tires, where do you want to restart here?
Patton taking the bottom, and he's taking the bottom all night. Fresh tires, old tires, doesn't matter. Benzie up top. There's no choose rule, so the only variable was going to be Scott Patton and Caleb Benzie. They line up in the traditional form here.
Sanders, who has been very aggressive, also starting on the second row.
With his teammate in front of him, mind you. But Justin Michael also has his teammate behind him. A couple of wiggles to get these tires warmed up for Scott Patton. He is in control of the restart. 2 laps to go. Awesome restart for Patton. Michael is looking to get clear as well. Michael in front of Benzie. Benzie with the bumper to Michael. Michael hangs on to it. Sanders fends off Ryan Dye for 4th. Benzie peeking to the inside of Michael. Michael a little bit uneasy with the back end of that truck, but up front it's all Scott Patton out of turn number 4. White flag is out. This time we are going to send it to the checkers. Next flag ends it. Benzie with a peek to the inside of Michael for 2nd. Drifts it up the track. Rolls out of it not to tag Michael. Gavin Sanders may try and push Benzie clear of Michael for 2nd. Bartell is passing Ryan Dye behind. Defensive line for Michael. He is going to hold on to second, and Scott Patton is going to hold off for the win here tonight. The Illinois-Missouri Border Dispute 200 goes to Scott Patton for career win number 1. Justin Michael rallies to second. Caleb Bensey hangs on to round out the podium in his debut here tonight. Gavin Sanders in 4th. Ryan Dye hangs on for 5th. Wow.
Wow is right.
Holy cow. All right. I'll tell you what we said off air before this race. Was not sure what to expect here tonight. Expectations were low. We said the exact same thing before the RAL Daredevil Series race here, though, and was absolutely blown away by the quality of that race. And this race, I think, is pretty close to the top of the pops here this season in Truck 200. That was an awesome, awesome race. Scott Patton is going to walk away with it. And Scott Patton, I think, has blown that baby up.
He's just coasting it down into the grass here.
Well, maybe not. I think that was somebody else that blew up. It has come back to life here. But the Polish victory lap for career win number 1 for Scott Patton. As he takes a lap around Gateway, Alan Kowicki style. We'll go ahead and give you the final finishing rundown here. Scott Patton, career win number 1. You knew it was coming. And gets it done here tonight. Justin Michael, after being off of the podium, actually 3rd place, he goes to 2nd on that final restart. Caleb Bensey drops to 3rd. The top 3 finishers finish exactly where they start this race. But Gavin Sanders, plus 16 here tonight. He finishes 4th. Ryan Dye rounds out your top 5 here tonight. TJ Bartell will finish in 6th. Joe Yakes, all things considered, tonight certainly was looking to go worse at certain points. He will bring it home in 7th here tonight. Garrett Rainey will finish on the lead lap in 8th, despite everything that happened to him right after his last green flag pit stop. Brantley Gainey, then your last truck on the lead lap in P9. Paul Ellison finishes 1 lap down in 10th. He is the only truck 1 lap down. Will Salamone then will finish in 11th. Dakota DeMade, I believe, is a DNF in 12th. Johnny Nielsen, I believe, was running at the end of the race, but does not overtake Dakota DeMade for 12th. So he finishes P13. Luke Peterson was running at the end. He finishes 14th. Adam Cantwell, DNF, P15. Kyle Zittel, I believe, was running as well. So he gets the 16th and final finishing position here tonight. Hunter Leach then will DNF in 17th. Roland Holt in 18th. Steve Roman in 19th. Jeff Smith in 20th. Jeff Langston 21st. James Lehman 22nd. Andy Poliski 23rd. Troy Thomas 24th. And John Kay, the first retiree after being caught up in that very first incident just within the first 10 laps of the race. But now it's time for some podium interviews. And we get to bring this gentleman up here in the Booth 200 for the first time in quite some time, and the first time in a truck. Welcome back, Mr. Caleb Bensey. You were absolutely stealing the show there right after that last set of green flag pit stops, and then using the old chrome horn there at the end of the race. It looked like you were having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that might have been my first ever oval truck race. So
really,
it was, yeah. So basically, that first stint was just basically figuring out how to save tires and what the pace should be. And then yeah, after that, I've done a little bit of next gen here and there, but not too much. But even though they're completely different cars, it's really all about saving tires and just being super precise and smooth, I guess. So once I kind of figured out where the pace was, I feel like I actually, if track position went my way, I feel like could have held on to the lead a bit. But yeah, it was tough. The traffic was tough to get around and inconsistent. So yeah, honestly, just with that green white checker coming out, I would have been fine just cruising home second. But yeah, very happy to still bring it home on a podium.
That's pretty much everything I was going to ask you there. Matt, do you have any questions for Caleb?
I just got to mention, you mentioned that you don't really race stock cars too much. How did you like the bumping and banging that happened here tonight?
Uh, it can be fun on the doing end of it. The receiving end, maybe not as much. But yeah, no, it is interesting to have that option at least. I know I got into the one lapper the one time that was truly not the intention at all. It was just he was half a lane off the bottom, and I mean, from what I was typically running, just never really got back on throttle and just barely got him. And yeah, apparently didn't like it and almost got me back. But yeah, no, I mean, thankfully I think outside of that, that was the only bit of contact with the wall or car I've made all race. So that in itself is a win, especially with how tough that track and car and everything was, that combo was. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different dynamic for sure.
Well, you had some people cheering you on here tonight, and I know you got a good host of sponsors that you want to give shout-outs and thanks to here tonight, so I'll let you have the floor.
Yeah, appreciate that. I know on the IndyCar side, we've been pretty deprived of broadcast, which is primarily where I race at, and always had a lot of family, grandparents, parents, friends, all tuning in and stuff. So they were excited when there was another broadcaster's race on tonight. So thanks to you guys always for watching, and obviously, Race First, Fawn and Fanny, fawnandfanny.com for anyone who's still watching and hasn't heard before, because it's kind of a new audience, I guess. But custom body care, men, women, all the above. Just go to fawnandfanny.com. There's a lot of really cool stuff we can ship out to you. So, and yeah, and thanks as always to family, friends. Good to get back on a podium. It's pretty cool doing an interview and getting a podium again. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, congrats on the podium here tonight, and congrats on nabbing the final RL Schaefer's championship as well.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Time.
I appreciate that. That was pretty cool to get that. That was pretty awesome.
Well, there you go. And you're looking forward to Interlagos, I take it, next week?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really enjoy driving these cars on road courses, but I guess that's part of the fun of it, I guess, because of how terrible they are. So yeah, we'll see. Again, I haven't really done any practice or felt it out at all. So yeah, we'll see. It definitely will be interesting. I can guarantee that.
Well, there you go. Looking forward to more Caleb Bency in the future, but congrats on going 1-for-1 on podiums here.
Yep, appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and bring up gentleman who finishes in second here tonight after a late rally there on that final restart. Justin Michael is going to come home P2 here tonight. Welcome back to Booth 200. I can imagine you were probably wanting a caution there at the end of the race for you. But how are you feeling there lining up there coming to the green?
Felt pretty good starting in first on that last restart, and I think that really gave us the boost to get past second place there. I know I didn't have anything for Scott. I don't like this track. I'm not good here, and I think Scott's much better than me here. So I definitely knew he was probably going to finish up front tonight.
Talk me through when you are leading the race and all of a sudden down the back straightaway, you are hitting a ramp like Gravedigger on the inside of the track. What's the process of recovery like there?
Yeah, just try not to hit anything. We just got loose and just hit the gas too hard coming out too. We got loose and, just recovered nicely, I think, and just kind of, I guess we just ran in third the rest of the time until that last restart.
Matt, what do you got for Justin?
Congrats on the P2. Usually we see you pretty smooth. You kind of lay back and then show your hand with your tires a little bit later on in a run. It seemed like you were a little bit more aggressive tonight. I don't know if that was by design or just maybe you not really cooperating with this truck and this track selection very well. It seemed like you were a lot more aggressive early on than we usually see, though.
Yeah, I don't know how to save tires here. That's all it is. Sometimes it'll click and I'll run good here, even though I still don't like the place. But I don't understand how to save tires at this track, especially with the shifting. It seems like I always burn them up. But I will say it seems like Scott was burning up worse than I was when we were comparing notes. But he was still faster, which I didn't get. But it is what it is. Second's still good for us.
I don't think you're alone in not getting along with this track very well. But you come away with the podium nonetheless, so let's give some shout-outs for you here tonight.
Just everybody out there watching, hopefully it was a good race. You guys call a good race. And Scott for painting that awesome truck that I have. So I know it was on the broadcast. I loaded it kind of late, but hopefully we'll get to see it next week. So we appreciate it.
From the screenshots that I saw, it looks pretty damn good. So can't wait to see that back out on track. And have you gotten any track time out on Interlagos yet?
I haven't. I might actually have to work, so I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. But I'm going to turn some laps this week.
All righty. Well, we hope to see you next week. And but congrats on the P2 here tonight. It was a hard fought one for sure.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Well, breaking news there. That's an interesting development. But can't wait to talk to this guy as a race winner. He's finished second. He's finished third. You knew it was coming. And now tonight is the night. No matter how many laps you get it done in, Scott Patton is going to walk away with a dub here tonight. Welcome back to Booth 200. Congrats on the big win.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, you called it, was it less or 2 weeks ago, that I guess the top was the only one I was missing. So we want to collect on tonight, and glad it's finally over after that long battle.
Talk me through as cleanly as possible your thought process when you round turn number 4 and you've got a track blocker in front of you.
You talking about the green white checker?
Yeah, coming to the white flag and not quite making it there.
Yeah, I obviously had my focus on that finish line. The white flag is in the air, and I'm thinking just got to get there. And I was not thinking at all about a realm of caution or a possibility. And it wasn't even until I didn't even realize where the wreck was until I crossed the finish line, took the white flag. Obviously, yellow came out before that, and then I saw the trucks kind of stopped, and one was backwards on the inside wall. I didn't even realize that it happened on the front straightaway, to be honest with you. So I kind of went there, probably through there a little bit faster than I probably should have, but glad the track was certainly clear, and glad there was kind of a limited number of trucks on the lead lap, so it was kind of straightforward to just take 4 tires and get back out there for the green-white checker without having to deal with too many guys or other trucks doing different strategies.
Matt, what do you got for a race winner here?
Yeah, Scott, first of all, congratulations. Awesome to see you on the top spot here tonight. Take us through lap traffic here. We saw some scuffles a little bit farther behind you, but why is it so difficult to get around lap traffic here at this track?
I think it's just the lack of banking. Obviously, it's kind of a sister track to New Hampshire, which I like a lot. But I think it's also that turn 1 and 2 can be really tricky, and there's a number of guys that have different lines through there. So it's one of those tracks that even though you might be on the bottom, somebody else might consider that the second line or the third line. So I think there's a lot of room for arguments as far as what the racing line is. So I think it's difficult to, guys may intend that they're and have the intent of letting you go, but they're just sitting right in the racing groove, and probably not even realizing it necessarily that that's where you want to be. So a lot of disputes like that probably contribute to it, along with guys just not wanting to go a lap down, waiting for that caution to come and kind of racing harder than they probably have been prior to that, trying to stand lead lap and hope for a miracle caution. But yeah, just saw a couple of those tonight.
I think everybody that started this race got used up pretty quick, except for that 46, and it's looking awfully good parked across the start-finish line here. Let's give some shout-outs. Let's give some love for you here.
Sure. Can't do it at the New England Racing Museum up here in New Hampshire. It's a museum that's dedicated to preserving history in the Northeast New England area. It's run by the very own Dr. Dick Berggren. He opened that museum about 5 or 6 years ago. That was his dream project that he dreamt of the last few years that he was broadcasting, and he made it come to fruition 100% by donations. It's a pretty incredible place, and it's by far Dick's big passion these last few years here. So good to see that up and running successfully. So we have them on the hood to support that. If you're ever up in the New England area, by the track. It's right literally on the Speedway property. The property charges them $1 a year in rent. So a lot of contributions go into that. It's pretty cool. But and then Stone River Outfitters, just a local fly tying shop up here, but they have an online store as well. So any fly fishermen out there need some fly tying gear, check them out at stoneriveroutfitters.com.
I love hearing about Doc Berggren. I miss that guy a lot. So good to see that the museum is up and going. And I don't know, we might see the 46 up in that museum one day. We'll have to see.
If they let me roll it in there, I'll have to beg and plead with Dick. But yeah, he's doing well up here, so it's good to see him. He's kicking around pretty much. He runs that full time too, so he's up there when it's open throughout the summer. He's up there almost every day that it's open. So kind of cool.
That's incredible. and an incredible finish, and you get to come out on top. No Harvick this time. The Dominator gets to walk away with the checkered flag here tonight. Awesome win. Good to get some fresh meat up on the top of the podium. Before I let you go, are you planning on running Interlagos with us next week?
Planning on it, yeah. It should be interesting. I won't lie, I've put in a little bit of time already in preparation for that. So we're not going to be hopefully caught with our pants down too much, and hopefully give these guys a run for their money.
Well, there you go. You'll have the hot hand on the flight to Brazil next week. But congrats on the win, Mr. Scott Patton.
Appreciate it, Tommy. Appreciate all you guys' work on the broadcast. It looks awesome every time. Appreciate it.
All righty, partner. I know you have some things that you want to get to here, and we encourage everybody to stick around and stay close to your devices, whether it be a mobile device or a computer, or however you're watching us right now. In not too much time, we're going to be right back on the air here with a live edition of Recap 200.
Yeah, it's we originally scheduled it for 9. This race went pretty late, a little bit later than we were expecting. So we're gonna take a quick break here. We'll actually shut the broadcast down here for Truck 200, and then in about 5 or 10 minutes, we'll go ahead and restart that stream back up, and we will be live with the very first live edition of Recap 200. We'll talk about what happened at Phoenix yesterday in the Cup Series, and everybody should come out. If you have any thoughts, any opinions on the season so far, go ahead and bring them out, and we can discuss.
Well, there you go. That's man, it's been a night. I tell you what, our first 2 cautions in 3 races. And then our first green-white checkered since the inaugural race. Man, it has been a night that we are not soon going to forget. Hey, Michael Fish says that he is going to return at Interlagos. That is exciting. So we're excited to get the 20 back out on track. Big thanks to everybody that hung out with us here tonight. It was quite the cast of characters in the chat and on the track here tonight. Thanks to LFG84, Greg Roberts. Get to hopefully see Flinky back in action tomorrow night at Darlington. Roll Tide. Hunter Leach was chatting in the race, which is always a good idea. Cheesy Boy in the chat. Andrew Runyon. Boxless Hobo. As well as It's Mike Racing. Of course, Michael Fish. Mike Bensey as well in the chat. So thanks for everybody for hanging out with us, whether you chatted with us or not here tonight. We hope to see you back here in just a couple of minutes for Recap 200. Our next broadcast will be right here tomorrow night with the Venom Truck Series for the Venom Southern 225 at Darlington Raceway, the penultimate race of season number 5. The championship hangs in the balance. The next time that we are in action with Truck 200, it's the one that half the field can't wait for. The other half is absolutely dreading. It's the Brazilian Truck Grand Prix at Interlagos. I cannot tell you how excited I am for next week's race. It is going to be a blast. For the greatest stream producer of all time, that is the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. I have been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again here on Turn 200, we say so long from virtual Worldwide Technology Raceway, where Scott Patton gets himself to victory lane in overtime. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you back here in just a couple of minutes.